What is up, guys? My name is Darren Jackson. Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you've had a great week so far. And obviously we're in a new year, and with the new year comes new resolutions, whether you want to get fit or you want to start investing and make a lot of money. And that's one thing I've seen a lot of people talk about over the past couple of weeks. And with all that happening, the one question I've heard a lot of people ask over the past couple of weeks is, what's the best investing app to use as a beginner? And there's either two answers I've heard, either Robinhood or it depends on your investing style. So we talk about Robinhood a lot on this channel, so I'm just gonna kind of step away from that. And I'm gonna focus on the other answer, it depends on your investing style, because that's obviously pretty tough to determine if you're new. Your investing style is, I wanna put money in, I wanna wait however long I'm willing to wait, and I wanna take more of it back out so I can make a profit. But there's multiple ways of making it. And if someone asks me what the best investing style for a beginner is, honestly, at least one answer I can think of is any type of brokerage app that offers any type of robo-advising or robo-financing. And we'll get more into what those specifically mean when it comes to certain brokerage apps, but basically it's just automated assistance that brokerage apps offer, which can help investors, especially if you're new, safely invest and make profits. That's pretty much what it does. Now, the two brokerage apps that I feel like implement robo-advising to some extent are M1 Finance and Acorns. I want to talk about both of those today. Of course, they have other similarities and they also have some differences about them. And I also want to answer the question, which one I would prefer to invest into. So as far as similarities go, we'll get the obvious one out the way since I've brought it up multiple times. They both have some sort of robo-advising feature within both brokerage apps. With M1 Finance specifically, when you invest through their brokerage app, your investment portfolio comes up into the style of a pie in which you can adjust the percentage of where your money goes into. So for example, if you have two different investments within one portfolio or one pie, ideally, you would think you would put 50% in one and 50% in the other. You can manually adjust it to put 60 and 40 or 90 and 10 if you want to be a little risky depending on what it is. Point is, you're able to adjust it for your own. But keep in mind that word risk. Whenever you're investing, there may be certain stocks that are a little bit riskier than the rest, and you may not know it for whatever reason, especially if you're new. You're starting to get to know different things to look at when it comes to picking a stock before you actually invest into it, and you may not know that yet. So with that being said, the chances of you investing into something a bit riskier is pretty high. And M1 obviously knows that. And one thing they do is something called auto rebalance. So what M1 does is that it monitors your portfolio and it examines which stocks can be a little riskier than the others. And once it determines that, it can rebalance your deposit structure. So if you have 3 stocks and one of them's at 40% and it happens to be the riskiest, it'll decrease the percentage that it puts into that particular stock or ETF or whatever, and it puts it into the other stocks that are going to appear less risky. So overall, you'll hopefully have less time with a volatile portfolio and more time with a portfolio that will generate some capital for you, maybe even dividends depending on what you invested in. Now, when it comes to Acorns, they have 4 different types of portfolios that they automatically generate to express some type of aggressiveness. As a matter of fact, their portfolios are categorized from conservative to aggressive, I believe. So those are just based off the percentage that's going into different categories with ETFs, bonds, and other stuff like that. So it makes it simple for the investor that all you have to do is select which one you're most comfortable with. So obviously conservative if you're brand new, and just let Acorns do the rest. Now, the second similarity that M1 Finance and Acorns have is they both are long-term investment style brokerage apps. Some of you guys may disagree with me with the M1 side of that, but just hear me out. So I consider M1 more so a long-term investing app for a couple of reasons. One, I'll get into later, but the other one, it's simply because of how the actual brokerage app looks out the gate. So whenever you look at the brokerage app at the beginning, you already have your portfolio set. It doesn't automatically give you details of every single stock or ETF or bond or whatever you invested into and their balances and how they're specifically doing. It gives you the overall capital gains. It tells you how much money you have in this pie, and how much money you've made from that pie and all that stuff. You have to click within it and do a little bit of extra work to see those details. So that's why I feel like M1 Finance is more of a long-term stock. Again, there's another reason, but I'll get into that in a second. Acorns is definitely even more of a long-term investing stock. And the reason behind that is, for one, its name. Acorn is a seed that if you plant it, you watch it grow and it turns into a tree. That's their whole purpose. As a matter of fact, once you open the Acorns app, it gives you information such as, based off your deposits that you're making into whatever portfolio you pick, how much you're projected to make within 10 years, 20 years, even 50 years from now. So it's more focused on the long term. That pretty much spells long-term investing right there. And I bring up long-term investing overall because I feel like it's the best style of investing, especially if you're new, because especially when you're new and you're still learning a lot of terminology and how to look at charts and stuff like that, you definitely don't want to try to invest in certain stocks that you feel like are going to grow within the next day or so, aka swing trading, and sell that and make a quick profit. You're gonna have to learn a lot, and the chances of that happening without knowing anything, I'm pretty sure slim to none. So I would say long-term growth is really beneficial, and it's a style I use as well. Now, I brought up the interfaces when I talk about the long-term investing aspect, but that's another similar thing that they have. Their interfaces are super easy to use, and I realize that's really beneficial for investors. You want things to be spelled out for you so you can be more comfortable with what you're looking at. They both also have these research features where you're allowed to do some research on individual stocks or any type of news that would pertain to the stock market. It could have some effect with your portfolio. And I'm pretty sure that's why a lot of people recommend Robinhood, because its interface is pretty spot on. Same thing with M1 and Acorns. They're not too far behind. I feel like having an easy interface is very suitable for people that are brand new to investing. Now, the other similarity is that they both offer debit cards, but those come with fees, and I don't want to focus too much of those in the video. I will mention it a little bit with Acorns because there's a point I'm trying to prove, but they both have debit cards, so you can look more into those if you're interested in that. All right, so of course the similarities, these brokerage apps have differences. They probably have a lot more differences than similarities. Maybe not a lot more, but more significant differences and similarities. The first being the investing process. So with M1 Finance, it's more of a free type of investing to where it gives you the opportunity to actually select different stocks and ETFs and bonds, and if they offer index funds, that as well. And you can create your pie based off what you decide to invest into. With Acorns, you're not allowed to do that. Again, remember, I said that it comes with 4 different preset portfolios based off a level of aggression from conservative to aggressive. So you have to pick out of those 4. And those 4 have some pretty similar ETFs and bonds and stuff like that, but you have to select which one you want, and based off that, the percentage is going to adjust on how much of your money goes into which. So you're pretty constricted on what stocks you're able to select from Acorns, considering you really can't. And then also, when it comes to actually investing into your portfolio, you can set recurring transfers within Acorns, and no matter what the amount is, whether it's a couple of dollars, $5, $10, it'll automatically go into the portfolio. With M1 Finance, it's a little more annoying, at least from my opinion. With M1 Finance, it won't put your money into the portfolio until the trading window starts. Even if I wanted to do a trade at 10 a.m., a couple of hours after the trading window opens, it won't do it until the next day when the trading window immediately opens, which is really annoying. The one way you can avoid that is if you sign up for M1 Plus, which is free for the first year, and I'm not really sure how much it is after that, but it allows you to trade once in the morning and then again sometime in the afternoon, which I guess helps a little bit, but still it's really constricted. On top of that, if you want the funds that you're transferring to automatically go into your portfolio without having to look at it to initiate it yourself, you have to make sure that you're depositing at least $25 into your M1 Finance account, because that's the minimum it's actually going to put into your portfolio automatically. It's annoying for me because I have $20 a week going into my M1 account, so I have to actually go into M1 after the money goes in there and initiate the transfer. It just won't automatically do it. I would have to wait another week for another 20 to go in, and then it takes all that and puts it because it's over 25. So again, that aspect of it's pretty annoying. The other difference with these two is the most important difference. It pretty much helps determine which one I would prefer to new investors, and that's fees. I've already talked about in a previous video about how Graham Stephan reminded us all that there's only one letter separating the word fee from free, and they both mean totally different things that can determine a lot in your life. But fees is the one we're gonna talk about. So on M1 Finance's side, they have the basic account, which is completely free, but again, it comes with some restrictions, including only being able to trade once a day as soon as the trading window opens. You can also sign up for M1 Plus, which I said again is free for the first year, but you'll have to start paying for it after the first year is over. And it does allow you to do some other things, including trading wise, being able to trade twice a day, which is still pretty inconvenient if you can compare it to a lot of other brokerage apps, including Robinhood. But if that's something you want to do and you love M1 Finance, then there you go. And when it comes to Acorns, this is the reason why I ultimately left Acorns after a year. Granted, I think it is a really good brokerage app, that's why I'm talking about it for some people, but this is why I left. Acorns charges a fee no matter what. So you have 3 different categories of accounts that you can have. So they have Lite, which costs $1. That pretty much gives you the opportunity to pick a portfolio and invest into it. You can do recurring transfers from your debit card, and there you go. They have the Spend account, which costs $3 a month. That's the one I had, but it gives you this debit card as well. And I've said already before that there was one big reason why I decided to get the debit card, which is pretty stupid. It's metal. And the details of that debit card I'm gonna talk about in a minute. And then they have the Acorns family account, which is $5 a month. It gives you all the opportunities that the Lite and the Spend gives you, but it also gives you the opportunity to create retirement accounts and brokerage accounts for your kids. So it can get them started early, which is really beneficial, but it also costs $60 a year. So you got to give a little to get potentially a lot, and that part's up to you. Now, with that being said, if someone asked me out of those two, which one would I recommend investing in? I would definitely say M1 Finance, and the reasons are pretty obvious. One, it's completely free. If you just want the basic accounts for both, one's $1 a month or $12 a year, and one is $0 a month for nothing. Two, it gives you more freedom as far as building your own portfolio. So even if you are a beginner, you may still know about companies that are really popular like Apple and Starbucks and Tesla, and you may want to invest a little bit into those. And if you would like to, you have the freedom with M1 Finance as opposed to Acorns. Now, the one exception that I will give to Acorns is their debit card feature. That was the biggest reason why I was okay with having Acorns Spend for over a year, even though I was getting charged $3 a month. So with that debit card, every time you use it, it implements what's called the roundup feature. So for example, if you buy a drink for $1.10, it will round up your total to $2, and it'll take that difference, or 90 cents, and it'll put it into your actual portfolio and invest into whichever portfolio you selected, which is actually really cool. That's why I say that Acorns is more so for like the college student that doesn't really do well with saving, but does really well with spending, and doesn't know too much about investing except that, you know, it can make you money. I would say it would fit with that, but it kind of sucks because Acorns did offer college students free accounts, and I really hope they change that back, but now they don't. You have to at least get the Lite or the Spend. Keep in mind, I'm pretty sure you can have the Lite account and link it with your own personal debit card if your bank is pretty popular and Acorns can find it. And you can do that roundup feature with your own debit card and still have the Lite account. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I couldn't try that because my bank isn't super popular. But that's my personal opinion on M1 Finance and Acorns, the semi-partial robo-advising. But let me know, which brokerage app do you guys think is best for beginners, or which brokerage app do you like the most and why? Definitely leave some comments below and let me know what you think about that, and make sure you watch some of these other videos. Hopefully they help you out on your investing journey as I have in mine. I appreciate you guys watching, and until next week, take care.